Stop talking shit, you walk into another trap.
Hello and welcome to the Russell Howard Hour. Yet another disaster has hit America.
At least 58 people have died, some 515 have been injured in a mass shooting in Las Vegas.
The gunman has been named as 64-year-old Stephen Paddock, a white man who lived nearby.
Police describe him as a lone wolf attacker.
It's the worst mass shooting in US history.
Hundreds of lives have been ruined. He wasn't a lone wolf, he was a pathetic wanker. There's been 273 mass shootings in America this year. It's never going to end unless someone does something. People were praising Trump for his presidential response. It wasn't presidential. He's the most powerful man in America. He wasn't talking about gun reform. He was talking about Jesus.
To the families of the victims, we are praying for you, and we are here for you. And we ask God to help see you through this very dark period.
You've asked God to help them? Don't worry, I've spoken to the magic man. There is no magic man. You're the magic man. You're the President of the United States. Don't talk about God. Let people know where to donate blood. Offer your Vegas hotel as a shelter. Or maybe stand up to the fucking gun lobby. But then he's never going to do that. He took $30 million from the NRA last year. And look what he said would have prevented the Paris attack.
Paris has the toughest gun control just about in the entire world. France has the toughest gun control just about in the entire world. If a few of those people that are now dead, if a few of those people had guns strapped to their ankles or strapped to their waist, you wouldn't have the problem.
You don't solve a problem with a problem. You don't put out a fire with a blowtorch. He's drowning. Fetch my hose. Trump will blame anything except for guns.
You know, no matter what you do, guns, no guns, it doesn't matter. You have people that are mentally ill, and they're going to come through the cracks, and they're going to do things that people will not even believe are possible.
It's not guns, it's mentally ill people. And if you think that's moronic, look what he did in February. He signed a bill allowing mentally ill people to buy guns. And you're like, what? You can't blame them for gun crime and then give them a gun! The other thing I don't understand, why didn't he call him a terrorist? We all saw it. We saw the footage. It looked pretty terrifying to me. We all know the reason he didn't call him a terrorist is because he was a 64-year-old white guy. You know, if he'd have been brown, Trump would have been like, ban the Muslims, shut down the borders, storm the mosques. But because he was white, Trump's there. Well, there's nothing we can do. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. Something needs to change. And I know there'll be people going, guns don't kill people. People do. Yeah? Well, prayers don't help people. People do. So stop praying and start leading. It's exhausting, isn't it? We're so used to this shit and it has to end. Now, it is worth pointing out that not everything in the news has been heartbreaking. It's been a tough week, but there's been moments of beauty. We saw a little girl steal Prince Harry's popcorn. Yeah, a little bit of that. A boy in Argentina swallowed a whistle.
very much.
And Jamie Carragher really enjoyed the freedom of Danish TV.
We have to discuss this. Neymar, Cavani with all the penalty shit. Who is going to say, who's not? Have you ever experienced say that? Yeah, in Danish television? I can say whatever I want to.
Can I say shit?
Yeah, you can say
shit.
Okay, well, we can do that.
I've never...
Fuck, shit, piss, this is the best day of my life!
Now, talking of joy, women in Saudi Arabia are hitting the road.
Now, after years of campaigning, women in Saudi Arabia are to be given the right to drive.
Yay! Wonderful. I mean, they still can't marry freely, open a bank account, get a passport or go to hospital without a man's permission. But brum, brum, brum. Sisters are two. So how did the news go down? Well, not everyone was happy. You know it's not popular when the person announcing it has to give himself a round of applause.
A royal decree has been issued in Saudi Arabia giving women the right to drive.
What a day for Saudi Arabia. Now, maybe the reason no one cheered is because Saudi Arabia is a weird place, man. Apparently, one of the reasons women weren't allowed to drive is because they'd make male drivers too horny. What? Who gets turned on by women driving? It's, oh, my God, she's doing a three-point turn. Look at that, look at that. Oh, parallel park for Daddy. That's what Daddy likes. I don't know what that oh noise was. I've never... It gets weirder. Look what this cleric said.
Leading Conservative clerics even suggested a woman could damage her ovaries if she drove a car.
Only if she's sitting on the gear stick. Am I doing it right? So that brings a whole new meaning to the phrase, can't find it, grind it. But the clerics, I'm convinced these clerics, they must just sit around making up lies about women. If you drive, you damage ovaries. If you brush your hair, your elbows go floppy. Don't sneeze, feet become puffins. They're lunatics. Listen to this.
One Muslim cleric recently claimed that women shouldn't drive because many of them only have a quarter of a brain.
They only have quarter of a brain. The rest is just pictures of kittens. Just... It's unbelievable, isn't it? And the freaky thing is, it gets even more sexist. Right? He actually said they had half the brain power of men, but it fell to a quarter when they went to the market. What? It's nuts, isn't it? Women lose their brains when they go shopping. No, they don't. You should see my mum when she's in Tesco. It's like a military operation. Like,
You're on milk, you're on bread, you, get me chicken, you, get me peas. We meet here at 1900 hours. Here's your club cards. Good luck out there. Good luck out there.
My dad's like the trolley at my pound. I give it a pound, Russ, and the trolley at my pound. Russ, I need to do a big boy toilet. Let's be honest, Saudi Arabia is a really dodgy country with a questionable human rights record. But change begins with a single step. Women in Saudi Arabia are allowed to drive a car for the first time ever, which is great, because when you put a lady in a car on their own, they can do some truly magical things.
Okay, here we go. So, yes! Now watch when my mouth actually moves.
Not only is it lovely, technically, she's complying to Sharia law. She's wearing a burqa. Not that it was my favourite driving story of the week. Oh, man, did you hear about the hell-raising German donkey?
A court in Germany is due to rule shortly in the case of a McLaren driver who's attempting to sue the owner of a donkey.
He caused £5 worth of damage. The excuse the donkey's owner gave was incredible.
Police believe the donkey may have mistaken the bright orange car for a giant carrot.
Yes, boss. Oh, man, that made me laugh nearly as much as this. Now, talking about things that made me laugh, UKIP elected a new leader.
The party's new leader is one Henry Bolton.
Henry Bolton?
Henry Bolton.
Who's he?
To be honest, even he didn't seem to know who he was.
I'm not Nigel. None of us are Nigel. None of you are Nigel. Nigel is Nigel.
He's not Nigel. And what was the new vision for UKIP? Well, the same vision as ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brexit is our core task.
Brexit is our core task. We don't want nothing to do with Europe. So, where did they hold their conference? A building funded by the European Union. It's like... It's like ISIS booking GAY. Mind you, if you think Henry Bolton is bad, the other candidates were insane. There was John Rhys-Evans, who in 2014 said that a gay donkey tried to rape his horse. There was David Coburn, who claimed that the EU stops him making toast. And my personal favourite, Aidan Powsland, who wants to profitably mine the asteroid belt and the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. No wonder he didn't win. Like, UKIP supporters don't want to go to Europe, let alone Saturn. Imagine that, who wants to go to space? Fuck off, it's black! Now, one thing all of UKIP agreed on was a new logo.
As well as a new leader, UKIP unveiled a new logo today. This lion, which looks pretty similar to this one trademarked by the Premier League.
Copied the Premier League, an organisation famous for importing foreigners. What is this British obsession with lions? A lion roaring is not an animal that represents us, is it? Should be a pigeon tutting. or maybe a squirrel just going, the weather can't make its mind up, can it? Also, surely, if UKIP are an animal, it's a jellyfish. No brains, funny looking, and if one touches you, piss on it. Yeah. Now, join me after the break when I'll be talking to the brilliant comedian Greg Davies. Welcome back. Now, I want to talk about food. Something massive happened to me last week. I'm no longer allowed to eat shreddies. Yeah, I'm gluten intolerant. I wasn't that pleased. I had a test, and this German doctor, she said, "What you eat in the morning?" Apparently she was a Chinese lady from Germany. What you eat in the morning? And I said, shredders. And she hit me with a question I never thought I'd be asked. She looked at me and went, what are shredders? I was like, I don't know. They're knitted by grannies. They keep them hunger locked up till lunchtime. But she was like, do they contain wheat? I was like, I don't think so. And then she looked at me and went, you must never eat them again. And I sulked. I genuinely sulked. I was like, I'm not allowed to eat shredded. It's not fair. And then later that day, after I was wandering around and complaining about shredding, I read this article, which made me feel like a piece of shit. More than 8 million people in Britain live in households that struggle to put enough food on the table. I'm bitching about shreddies when the level of food poverty in this country is crippling, particularly with kids. In the UK, for every class of 30 kids, 9 of them live in poverty. As many as 3 million children are going back to school after the holidays hungry. Like, it's heartbreaking, isn't it? It makes you want to go to a school with a load of food. And then I thought about it, I was like... it's gonna look dodgy, isn't it? Do you want a sandwich? I mean, that is gonna be misunderstood, isn't it? That will be on the front page of The Sun. Russell Howard tries to get kid in van. You're like, no! No! But it genuinely crushed me. And you know the worst thing? We have starving kids and we're throwing away food. 17 billion pounds of food and drink is wasted every year in the UK. And some of the reasons why are ridiculous. Mountains of strawberries and lettuces are left to rot in fields because supermarkets say they're too ugly to sell. Who complains about ugly veg? You're gonna eat it, not fuck it. Like... Nobody's ever... How's your salad, sir? Utterly minging. I wouldn't fuck. Why don't we give... Like, the thing that kills me is you read stuff like that and you're like, why don't we give this food to the kids? Like, but it's wonky, so? We don't get rid of wonky people. If we did, I wouldn't be on telly. And we wouldn't have a Prime Minister. Or, for that matter, we wouldn't have a Leader of the Opposition. But MPs don't have to worry about food, because while some kids are starving, we give in Parliament £3.7 million for food and drink. How about you paying for your own lunch, like nurses do, like firemen do, like other public servants do, you cheeky shit? And do you know the worst thing? They're not even grateful. MPs complain about free House of Commons dinners. We buy for them. Mini tantrums were thrown about porridge. Tantrums! Your MP's not Goldilocks. This free porridge is too lumpy. This free porridge is too wet. If they're acting like Goldilocks, I say release the bears. Release the bears. Something has to change. Austerity is crippling families, and children aren't just going without food. Some British girls are missing school because they can't afford tampons. Again, it makes you want to go to a school. It gets worse. Some girls in the UK are using socks because they can't afford tampons. How is this happening? We pay millions to keep the royal family going. I don't see Kate Middleton going, Wills, I've got the painters in, give us your polo sock. Yeah. Is that a bit much? Is that a bit much? Or is it a bit much that the government could pay for it? In fact, since the beginning of austerity, whilst child poverty has been rising, the government has bought over 100 new paintings and sculptures for their art collection. There's hungry kids, DIY tampons, and we're buying modern art. And you know the worst thing? Of all the art we own, only 3% of it is on display. Not only is it mad, they're not even letting us look at it. Your MPs, not picture squirrels. Just hide it from the voters, hide it from the voters. It's a joke. If politicians aren't going to do anything, then we're going to have to fix it ourselves. If you've got some spare food, take it to your local food bank. If you're a school, organise a place where people can donate tampons. If you're a restaurant that doesn't donate surplus food, give it to a charity. Give it to the homeless. If you're an MP, pay for your own fucking porridge. And this is the biggest one, Britain. If you see me hanging around a school, I am not a bad guy. I am not a bad guy! Now, in this week's Playground Politics, I spoke to the children of the world about North Korea.
Anything you'd like to say to Kim Jong-un? Do you know who Kim Jong-un is?
Pardon?
What? So what do you think he does?
Makes robots.
Doing a kid TV show, teaching kids stuff. He goes in, like, TV shows, commercials to help people.
He's actually in charge of North Korea. Yeah.
Yeah, he sounds familiar.
He's the big cheese in North Korea.
What?
He's the head honcho. Numero uno.
What? I
Top Wolf.
Never heard
King
of
Lion.
What?
The Roar in the Stars.
No, never heard of any of those.
The sofa to beat all sofas.
That does not make sense.
The unstickable glue.
No.
The shoes that don't fit.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's who he is. North Korea and America are currently not getting on. How would you solve that?
I have battles with my sister. I just grab a pillow and start hitting her. Can you be quiet? I'm trying to go to sleep.
I apologise. And do you know, in North Korea, you're only allowed 15 haircuts. So both of your haircuts would both be banned in North Korea.
What?
I know.
That would be so sad because I love my hair.
Your hair's wonderful, isn't it?
Tk you.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at us?
They're not looking at you. It's these are looking at you. That's the funny thing. You're running from the mic, and there's two cameras following your every move. Jeans are not allowed in North Korea. So Valentine, your red trousers would be illegal. How would that make you feel?
I don't know. Horrible.
Horrible, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm allowed. They're nice ruffles. But they're too warm. I would have cut it up here, made them into shorts.
Yeah.
Like underpants shorts.
Yep, so you'd sort of get around it.
Yeah.
So you turn your jeans into shorts.
Or just put all fluff on them and then they're legal.
What's that dude that's the leader?
Kim Jong-un.
Will he be watching this?
I think he may do. Have you got a message for Kim Jong-un?
I would have said more and more ferries to Spain because it's my favourite place to go for holiday.
So hang on. So you want Kim Jong-un to offer more ferries to Spain?
Yes.
OK, I think we can make that happen.
Now it's time for my guest. You know him from Man Down, Taskmaster, and all of his brilliant stand-up tours. Please welcome the fantastic Greg Davies! Nobody's actually been... Look, you're literally touching me from that. Nice, isn't it? It's kind of... Yeah, it's all
nice. Right. Two boys, different age groups, comfortable touching each other.
Yeah. It's like... This is how the Greeks did business, isn't it? The elder came on, said some wise stuff.
Yeah.
Then bummed him.
Bummed him?
Yeah.
This is all going in, isn't it? All going in.
That's what they said. It is now. How are you, anyway? How's things?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right, thank you.
And you're back on tour.
Bumming lads aside. I'm going to redo that because I'm a professional. No, I'm good, thanks. Yeah.
Bumming any lads.
Bumming lads aside.
It's going to be fucking hours of this, right? So we haven't even done one question yet.
No.
You're currently travelling the UK with your new stand-up show, Magnificent Beast.
Yeah, You Magnificent Beast.
How's it going?
Oh, I'm loving it. It's brilliant. I don't understand why anyone ever moans about it.
Really?
When you hear... I've heard comics saying how stressful it is. It's not. You get driven to a town, you talk nonsense in front of people who've paid to hear you talk nonsense.
Yes.
And then, in my case, I drink 2 full bottles of dry rosé wine.
See, even this, such as your manner, you make sounding an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Really classy.
But, I mean, you know, I'm talking like that now. I'm 11 dates into a 55-date tour, so realistically, I'm not going to survive.
Here's a question for you.
All right.
Lots changed since your last tour. Do you ever get scared watching the news?
Yeah, I do, Russell, yeah. I'm actually trying to avoid the news, because it is petrifying, isn't it? I don't admire you having to make it funny, because it's terrifying. You know, literally the biggest penis in the world is in charge of the world. Yeah. It's terrifying.
It is.
He's absolutely loathsome, isn't
Yeah.
I don't even find him funny anymore.
Yeah, well, that's the weird thing, isn't it?
Choke the life out of him.
Yeah. But you can't see the comedy in it.
Well, increasingly, no, because he is the most powerful man in the world, and ultimately he might send people to their deaths, you know. And he's just a reality star who's out of his depth. I think that it's Republicans need to start more forcibly getting rid of him, you know, because it's really frightening and dangerous.
But it almost. Do you ever get worried that the world's going to end?
Yeah.
What would you do if the world was going to end? I guess what I'm asking, if you had a bunker, who's in it? I like the fact you're thinking about this.
I mean, the sensible answer would be, you know, the people I love, I suppose, but then I'd be taking them down with me, so... I don't know. Hadley? Tony Hadley?
Just you and Hadley? There's 2 other spaces and...
Off the top of my head, Russ, me and Tony Hadley.
See, the problem I always have with the bunker situation is that if you're going to be down there for a long while, everyone's got needs.
Sexual needs?
Sexual needs. And...
OK, let me rethink the Hadley thing.
Yeah. There's just going to be that lovely moment where you're singing "Go" back to each other, and then a week in where you have to go, Tony, can you look that way because I'm going to have a tug? Like, it'd just be heartbreaking.
Well, let's go on the show.
Will this go on the show? Yeah, maybe.
Well, talking about asking Tony Hadley to turn his back while I whack myself off.
Well, if it doesn't go on the show, it'll certainly go on the internet. Like, man. Like... But... What I was thinking about with you specifically is... Because Hugh Hefner died this week.
Oh.
And I thought
well,
of
that's,
you.
That's a very kind comparison, thank you.
In that there's an air of sexual mystery about you.
Oh, sure there is.
Yeah. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of... you look like a man who's...
There's an air of sexual mystery.
Yeah, there is. But you look like
I think there are several ex-girlfriends laughing heartily now. There's nothing mysterious about it, mate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But have you ever been to the mansion?
No, of course I haven't.
But how... You must be similar age. What we've been...
An hour.
Sorry.
I thought it'd be fun coming on a mate's show.
Oh. No, but I mean that, because...
I'll tell you something, I would wear pyjamas and a dressing gown all the time if I could.
Yeah.
I mean that. If it was acceptable, I would.
Have you never been to, like, a wild... What's the wildest party you've been? Because you look like a bloke who's been to some crazy shindigs.
Not really, mate, no.
Really?
No, I suppose that the craziest party I can remember is I was trying to impress a girl and I drank an entire bottle of vodka, neat, and then I sat on a lawn crying all night. Well, that's not especially sexually mysterious, is it?
No, but it's evocative, isn't it?
It's powerful, isn't it?
Oh, it's very powerful, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is, well, he went deaf from taking too much Viagra. Did you know that?
He went deaf?
Yeah.
God, we've been setting up the wrong path all these years, then.
Yeah, well, that's what... But it begs...
Too much and you go deaf.
That's what they said, yeah. Have you ever taken Viagra?
No, I haven't, Russell.
OK.
I'm sure I'm on the cusp of it, but I haven't. But I'll tell you what. My friend, who will remain nameless until after the record...
Oh, great.
Because you do know him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you've met him, yeah. My friend, he ordered some Viagra online, and then he banged 2 without telling his wife. And what he didn't know is that one of the possible side effects of Viagra is you can go bright purple. Because it opens everything up. And he said he just smashed them and then was sitting with his wife, who he hadn't told, watching telly.
Yeah.
And she was just watching telly, and she turned around to him and went, "The fuck?" And he went, "What? She goes, "You're purple, that's what. You need to call an ambulance." And he was going, no, I'm sure. No, I think I've just got a bit too hot. But he said he went to the bathroom and he was bright purple, like something from Willy Wonka, you know.
Yeah. But surely pass that off as too much Ribena, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like...
he said... She was shouting upstairs, "Are you all right?" And he was going, "No, I'm fine." And he was on Google going, "Side effects of Viagra."
Yeah. Here's a good question for you. If you could change one law in the UK, what would it be? Would you ever think about that? Do you ever get sad with our country?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the laws I'd change won't be popular in this room, because I don't think that young people should be allowed to go to university until they're 30.
They can be very sensible freshers.
Yeah, no, it's not that I don't want them to have fun. I just don't think anyone goes to university and learns. I think if you want to, you know, bang each other and get pissed, do it on your own time.
But it's going to be very hard to bang and get pissed, because surely university is an area where you say, listen, this is the bang and get pissed area.
Yeah, well, they can do a menial job, and then they can meet up in a park and get pissed and bang each other.
So rather than university, you're advocating dogging. No.
I'll tell you what law I'd change.
Hit me,
I would make it legal, and I want to make this clear because animal cruelty people will be on to me. It's in self-defence only. I think you should be able to twat a swan. If you see the poster for my tour, it's me standing in a lake, and the reason I want to introduce this law is I had to keep running out in between the photo getting taken, running out of the lake, because there was a swan after me. And most of the crew who were supposed to be there making the picture look lovely were spent trying to sort of reason with this swan. I just thought...
I mean, what I would say
I'll tell you something
else.
else.
Whoa. Go on.
A swan is one of 3 birds that has a penis.
Has a penis?
Yeah.
Well, how close did you get? Like, no wonder he wanted you out. Yeah, exactly.
Do you know that?
Yeah, you fucking... It's that Greg Davies. You've been gooching my swan.
That's not...
That's the Queen. Who did you think that was?
Say that's not a swan,
Nah, swan to be like, what are you playing at?
Yeah.
Hey.
Oi, get out my... What are you playing in my fucking lake?
Yeah.
Do you want to see my dick?
So who are the others?
Who are the other...
With penises?
I think an emu.
An emu? You think an emu?
Yeah.
No, it's clear. None
of the little birds have got dicks. Dickless. Absolutely dickless species.
I'll tell you what, when Attenborough goes, you've got the job. Look at that, nothing. Not even a nutsack.
That's what I'm pitching for. Look at that dickless arsehole. Did you know that, though? Did you know they haven't got dicks?
No, yeah.
They've got cloacas. They just...
They got what?
Male and female birds have both got a thing called a cloaca, which is just an opening, and they just pop them together.
Well, like supermarket trolleys?
Yeah. Exactly like that, yeah.
Do you think that's why so many trolleys end up in lakes? Just like... Weird. I didn't know that. No, I love that. Greg...
I was told you were going to ask me what my biggest regret is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
OK, well, let's put that into a way. So, if the world was going to end...
Yeah.
What would be your biggest regret?
Every winter, when it first goes cold, I pull a muscle in my left shoulder, Russell, and I'm reminded of the fact that when I was 13, I tried to suck my own cock.
That is amazing. Thanks very much, Greg. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Greg Davies. Join me after the break for some of your good deeds. It's time for some of your good deeds, all the brilliant things you've seen, you've done, or someone's done for you. As ever, they're wonderful. This lady shared this selfless act of motherhood. I took the batteries out of my vibrator to put in my kid's Xbox controller. It's like, to Christ, I don't put them back. Andrew Canham acted like a hero. I scared a moth out of my wife's wardrobe through intimidation and loud noises and being naked. This next one is from Zoe, and it says, my cat kept shitting on my neighbour's drive, so I baked them a lemon drizzle cake to apologise. It's pretty lovely, isn't it? Mind you, if you were a neighbour, you'd have to shit on the lawn. Just like, oh, yeah, your cat's done another horror dump. This next one is an amazing video I was sent about a guy called Matt Callanan.
My name's Matt Callanan. I'm hiding 20 £10 notes around Cardiff. You can't spend it on yourself, and you have to do good with that £10 note. If it's raining, you could potentially go and buy some umbrellas and give them out to people that looked a bit wet. If you do something good for someone else, the chances are they'll go on and potentially do something good for someone else. And so you've created this sort of domino effect of happiness.
Now, pretty cool, isn't it? But I thought it was such a great idea that I've invited Matt to the studio. Matt's here today. This is Matt, so please give him a round of applause. Hello, mate. Ole. What kind of things have people done with the money?
One of my favourite ones was this guy called Dale. He found the £10.
Yes.
He told his work colleagues about it, the tenner for good concept. They started chipping in tenners. He raised 150 quid. Then he decided to turn it into 150 Easter eggs. And then we went down to the Children's Hospital, dressed up as bunnies, and delivered 150 Easter eggs to the kids.
Oh, amazing. That's pretty sweet. I like that. Now, so here's my idea. What we're going to do is, because of this brilliant idea of Matt's, I thought, why don't we all follow his lead? Why don't we all do this? So this week, I did just that. I've put together 100 envelopes and released them into the wild. We put them all over the place, in bus stops, park benches, cash points, trees, even ladies' toilets. So if you find one, I want you to let us know using the hashtag #tennerforgood and the hashtag RHDeeds. Film what you did with that tenner, take photos, send it to me, and I'll put it on the show next week. This could be amazing. Now it's time for my stand-up guest. Please welcome the brilliant Desiree Burch!
Thank you so much. That was so kind and unwarranted. Thank you. So I actually moved here a couple of years ago. I've been here for about 3 years, and I moved here for a relationship, like you do at some point in your life. And so, you know, I've been with him since I got here, and it's my first long-term relationship, despite my age and opportunities, first long-term. So I have to ask people if I'm doing it right. And so, are there other people who have been in long-term relationships before, like longer than a year? Has that ever happened to anybody? Okay, cool. Can I ask you guys a question? Are you supposed to hate the person? Okay, I will take that as a yes. I will take the assent as a... Well, it's funny, because guys are always like, what are you talking about? She's my angel. And women are like, I cannot stand his ass. Help me. Right? So, and the thing is, I don't hate him. Obviously, he's lovely. It's just everything he does. Every single thing is a new way to piss me off. Right? So, my boyfriend has this cough, right? Yeah, you already know where this is going. Just like I see women are like, he has it too. So he has this cough, and his cough goes, ooh. It's the dumbest cough I've ever heard in my life. Ooh. Is that a cough or a sneeze, asshole? Pick one. You get one. Ooh. It's like his cough has given up on life too. Like, I can hear it through walls, okay? He will be in the back garden having a cigarette, and I'll just hear, ooh. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be listening to that for the next 30 years until one morning when I'm just choking the last one out of his throat. Another Marlboro Light, you dick, why don't you? And he's a sweet pea, like he's a nerd, like deep space subreddit reading nerd, like nerdy white dude. And that is not an interracial dating combination that you see as often as you should, if you think about it, right? Black woman, nerdy white guy. Because think about it, it is perfect, right? Traditionally, black women love being able to tell their man what to do. And nerdy white guys love when women talk to them. Right? So, bellissimo. So, okay, since I'm surveying you guys, where are the cat people in the room? Cat people, where are my cat people at? All right, cat people, cool. So you guys all know that you're sad masochists, right? It's a thing you've accepted about yourself, that you're in a relationship with a tiny little hairy dominant. They are, they're little dominants, all of them. Like, think about cats are known for very S&M things, right? Like, they'll mark up all your clothes with their hair so when you go out, everyone knows who owns you, you know, right? They cut you off from your communications with other people, like when you're sending an email, they're like, what is this email? You can love no one but me, right? They'll control your food intake. You try eating around a cat, they're just like, my chicken cutlet. Like, someone's got to watch your weight, darling. They're just tiny little hairy Christian Greys, all of them. And clearly I'm speaking as someone who has recently acquired a cat. And I use, yes, well, you know, woo, sure. I mean, look, I use the word acquired because has anybody ever bought a cat? You do not buy cats. You just open your door one day and there's a cat there like, Jesus, where have you been? I'm starving, excuse me. Also, I need to take a shit. Where do you keep your shoes? Let's do this, right? And they just move in and then you've got a cat, right? Which is what happened to me because basically, unbeknownst to me, my boyfriend was spending our hard-earned money buying cat food for all the neighborhood strays because he's a little Care Bear, right? And that's cute, except for I'm the one who wakes up the next morning and goes to the back door and it's like we're running a cat methadone clinic. It's like all these cats are like, Wah! You're supposed to open at 7:30. So like we just kept the cute one and threw kibble at the rest and slammed the door. And now we got a cat, you know, it's the way it happens. You know, but the thing is, you don't always choose the relationships that you find yourself in. Like, sometimes they just find you. Like, for instance, I am what is known in the industry as a fag hag. Now, I don't know if that is a phrase that people still use because I'm a decade and a half older than everybody in this room. And millennials keep changing words for things, but until you guys come up with something as funny as fag hag, I'm holding on to fag hag, all right? That is how I personally identify. So the thing is, you don't grow up and go like, I'm gonna be a fag hag one day. You're just like a fat lady and they find you, you know? Like no, seriously, like, cause I'll get dressed up with my female friends, right? And we're all, you know, dressed up, we're gonna go out, you know, to the bar and like, you know, hook up or whatever. But like what happens is when you're a fag hag and you walk into the bar, you get there and you are immediately encountered with a gay man going, fabulous, just like a drive-by fabulous. And then like two other guys are like, fierce, fierce. They're like moths. They're like, you're fierce, you're fierce, you're fierce. And it's amazing because you're getting all of this positive attention from like interesting men and you're adoring it. But what they don't realize is happening is that they are then forming this phalanx of gay around you through which no dick can ever penetrate. Like you're looking at guys over there and they're just swatting dicks out of the sky like King Kong. They're like, ah, she's ours, stay back, ah, you know? And like, you're just like, oh, I'm never getting your number. Okay, I guess we will all just hang out together and drink $15 cocktails. And then one of you will make out with me for some confusing reason. And then you'll all go home with each other. They'll totally do that. They're like, I'm being so much, bye. And then like, you know, they go home and you're on the floor covered in glitter, which is how every Saturday night ends for you. All right, you guys have been very kind to me. My name is Desiree Burch. Please have a great rest of your night. Cheers, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Desiree Burch. Thank you for watching the show. Good night, my friend. Good night.